G'day and welcome to the Early Crow, episode 57, brought to you by Makita. Right now, get amazing bonuses with selected Makita XGT 40 volt and 80 volt max kits and combos. Limited time only. Visit makita.com.au for details. Makita XGT, more intelligent, more efficient, more power, more Makita. Boys, how are we? T. Papley finally surfaces. Rumours were, Pratty, that he was actually in Melbourne, but we wouldn't fucking know. Here he is. He's back. He's been to Asia, Southeast, and Japan. My mail is, and to Melbourne, and now he's back in Sydney. Welcome back.
Boys, how are we?
We need a bit of Thin Lizzy playing in the background. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. Anyway, sorry.
Not one of your best, Pratty. But,
yeah. Good way to start.
Good. It was a good trip. We started with Bali, obviously. I think I was back for one episode for Bali, but Japan was good. It was, it's a very, I don't know if you'll be allowed over there, Dicko. They're very straight down the narrow, do everything right. Nothing's out of line over there. So it's very different to Australia. You can walk across any road you want, jaywalk, bloody talk shit on the train, do everything. But it's very polite over there. Not much talking on the trains, and the young ones get up for the old ones straight away. And it's very, very different. It was a good trip though.
Highlights from Japan and your sort of tips for the punter at home who's thinking about going to Japan.
The highlights have to be the Piss Alley and Golden Guy. If you go in Japan, everyone goes there. It's the food stalls on we can go every sort of night, but obviously the Fridays, Saturdays are the nights to go. We went there on a Saturday night. It was unreal. Just go there, pumping, go into this little restaurant, have a bloody bite to eat, have a beer, then go to the next one, and so on. Then you go to Golden Guy. It was good.
Love it, mate. Love it. Did you try anything outrageous, or was it just straight up and down, bit of sushi, bit of sashimi, or did you adventure out of those tramways?
And what would your old man have eaten?
My old man wouldn't have one thing over there, not one.
And would you have two or three things?
No, I'm good with food. I'll eat anything. I'll eat raw fish, anything. Didn't venture out to the nothing too ridiculous. I think there was we were going to go to this real nice sashimi joint, and I think they were fish sperm or something was on the menu. So that's on the menu over there. So it's an interesting sort of setup they run. But so I didn't get into that. Dicko, you might.
You do you. That's like the ultimate you do you.
But I think with the I think with it, it's a forget what they call it, but the chef just cooks it for you, and you just get it, so you don't ask, and the chef just gives it to you, and you just eat it. So it's interesting, but we didn't head there.
Any other tips, takeaways from Japan?
I reckon we probably spent a bit too long in Tokyo. You probably only need about 6 or 7 days. Don't go to Disney Sea. We went there; it was pretty ordinary. Busy as hell, but I'm not a big movie man, so it's I don't know, it wasn't really up my alley. But try as much. I forget the restaurants, the names, but geez, there were some good restaurants there. The food's elite. Just try anything; it's pretty good. Any restaurant you go to, along the busy spots, you walk in there and there's people in there. You're guaranteed a good feed.
How long's the flight from Sydney to Tokyo?
9 hours.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad. It's probably just on the once you fly to Dubai, that's 15, and then you got to go another 9 to Europe. So it's a fair hike to Europe compared to Japan.
Sydney to Perth with the boys, Sydney to Tokyo with Annie. Which one?
To Bali.
Oh, you did Bali too. Yeah, the Perth flight was it's a regular for you guys to do it once or twice a year. I was thinking.
It was Bali was pretty. They're very two different trips. I'll tell you that much. It was it was.
What are you doing on the plane to kill time? You watching movies?
Yeah, I'll watch movies on the plane. There's nothing else to do. But yeah, what did I watch? I watched what was I watching over there? I forget what I was watching. Actually, I watched some that Monsters. That Monsters about the serial killers. Or
Oh,
that was pretty full on that. But yeah, good show. Like it's very very interesting. But it's a bit sick at the same time.
Righto. Pratty, your cup week. Highlights, lowlights. What did you get up to?
Yeah, well, we went Oaks Day and Champions Day. I don't know about you, Dicko, but I reckon Flemington's nailed that Champions Day. Like, the number of people that we spoke to on track that were ready to watch those 3 races. I know I'm a little bit more of a traditionalist in that, like, I like things as they are and the names as they are, but I reckon them changing that a little while back has definitely created a really, really good day on track, and there was heaps of people there watching those 3 races and genuinely engaged. How was the roar when Mr. Brightside moment was standing in the stand?
No, it was significant. It was as big a roar as I've heard at Flemington. The Valley gets a better atmosphere for sound and vibe than
I do agree with that.
And they're gonna rip that joint down and change it. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
One thought I had on the way home was, like, particularly Champions Day, like, it went like...
It did, didn't it?
And that doesn't happen on a racetrack for me ever. So, it was a...
Is that because you're having fun? Time flies when you're having fun, or...
No, Champions Day would have been the worst day on the punt I had all week. The only winner I backed, I was in the Everest on the way home, to be honest. I backed them walking to the car. I should have seen we lobbed on Saturday. Pratty and I decided to go. We lobbed. I pulled up. Might have been about to pull out a little analog. Car next to me. P-Rat.
Unbelievable. Parked directly next to each other.
Like,
yeah.
And I thought, fuck, we're on today.
Yeah.
Then 2 minutes later, we lost the second race. So I was like, maybe not.
We can
Paps,
discuss
your week. You came down Friday night, I believe.
Yep.
I played golf with the man that took you to the caller car, Jack Erickson. I'm not jealous of many people. I'm jealous of him. He's got one of the great lives, and he's one of the great blokes. And we played. Now he can jump in and correct us. And I would have told you guys, we played the Dunes. We played together as Ambrose, just to have a lot of fun, a few beers. It was 6 under or 4 under. I can't remember, but
6 under.
We were like on fire. One of the most enjoyable games of golf I've ever played. And he told me, he said, I'm taking Paps to the caller card. And he's demanding a +1. He said, demanding. And I said, he might be taking Pratty. No, he wasn't. How was the caller card, mate?
It was, don't worry, Ericsson did tell me about that golf day. Fucking wouldn't shut up all day about it. But I heard you were giving it a bit, which is good. It's good to see. Call the card.
He's just like, those golfers or those people that, like, he would compete with you and maybe beat you at tennis. Hasn't played in 5 years.
Yeah, he's
just a natural athlete. Tremendous competitor.
Yeah, he's good golfer. He started. I got down Friday night. Went to Derby Day. I was in the car park, so it's pretty full on in there. There's not much.
Can you explain what that is? Because I still don't even know.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
It's just like in the big nursery. There's car parks everywhere, and everyone's sort of got like a site, like a marquee sort of thing. Like some people have got like super sites. Clarkie's family do a super site, so you can fit about 100 people in there or so, and then they've probably got maybe 7 or 8 super sites, and then everyone else has sort of got little like marquees and things like that. It's not for the punter. It's not for the. It's not really there if you want to go and have a bet. It's more just for a party and young people that like going to the races, having a good time. There's a good atmosphere around there. You walk around, you see someone here, someone there. You're always chatting, but there's a few big screens.
Is it on the? If you drive in and park where you normally would park at Flemington, is it way left of that, but next to the straight?
Yeah, I don't even actually know where it is, but it's like, when you get off the train and you go to walk in the members there, it's like you keep going, you don't go down the stairs, you go left all the way down that road and you keep going all the way to the end.
I know you are. Yep.
It's on the right-hand side of where you park your car. You know when you park your car,
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
car spots on the left. It's on that that caged area. Yep.
Yeah. It was
Where
good
stereo
day.
used to be. Used to do a lot of damage at fucking Stereo Sonic when it was there at Flemington. Ho, 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 ho.
But it was a good day. It was big day. It's a bit of a dampener trying to get out of there. It's a chaos trying to get out of there. And then Sunday went to Coldplay. That was bloody unbelievable. One of the better concerts you'll go to. Then Monday was called, unbelievable. I've been to him twice, and the two best concerts I've been to.
That's awesome.
He's unbelievable. Call. Best performer. Just like I love his music. I listen to it like driving to the game and stuff. So I was most of his songs, but it was elite. Then Monday, call the card. It was good. There was a bit of money thrown around. I've never been to one before. It only goes for 12 till 3. Jason Richardson was just elite. He was just ripping into the bookies. He was really good. And that sort of made the day. Richo was up and about, giving the bookies some stick and things like that.
He's got great energy, Richo, doesn't he? He just he gets the best out of people when he presents and hosts.
Yeah, I think he's one of the better ones going around. All sports really. He's great energy, good bloke. And then Wolf Den put their hand up or a few. But I don't think there was much money made in the room, I'll tell you that much. There was plenty of dough done. I'm trying to think if anyone actually backed Knight's Choice. Is that the fucking name? Yeah.
Well, if they did, they weren't on Twitter because you wouldn't have missed it.
I think it might have even been passed. I don't know. But, so plenty of people did that dough. Then Tuesday, I was down the island, and then Thursday went to Oaks Day Tab tent, which was nice. Got there nice and early, got a nice spot for the day, and come back Friday. It was a big night Thursday night though. It was good fun with Jack Erickson and a few boys.
Oh, you were with Erickson again, were you?
Yeah, it was Erickson again Thursday. Yeah, night.
Because he was texting us because we I don't know if I got closer to Tom at the AFL Grand Final when he was warming up, or on Oaks Day at Flemington when I was going down to look at my horse I was about to race, and it was at the pre-parade, and he was. I still don't know where the tab marquee is.
No.
And he's texting me and Pratty going, Ascot? ? And Pratty and I going, fucking hell.
I was like, they are racing at Ascot. But that's later the Savo. I don't know.
It's
do you want
2
to tip
p.m, mate, and they're racing at fucking Narra Court today in WA, you moron.
Who asked
at
that?
8 p.m, he texts me, you coming with Ascot? Oh, yeah, mate, I'm just going to tuck Darcy in. Lenny, you sweet? Yeah, see you, babe. I'll be home at 8 a.m, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I now get what you're saying.
Yeah,
well, you didn't reply to me.
Because we thought you were
both. We both looked at each other like, what the fuck's this bloke talking about?
What's he on about?
Oh, yeah, fuck. It was
Should
a big
have said
day.
Ascot Vale. Would have said, "Yep, sounds good." See you there. But anyway, so good. It was a fucking good vibes. Oaks Day and Champions Day. Fuck, it was packed.
Which day was your favourite? So you've done car park, you've done at home with the family on the island, you've done Oaks Day. Which one was the favourite?
I think Oaks. I love being in front of the TV. Oaks Day. Just got we had the best table in front of the TV. Obviously, Tab put on a great show, and the bar's right there. You walk up to your table and just have a bet all day responsibly, of course.
Again, responsibly 1-800-858-858 or visit the website.
Yeah, and it was actually. I found a few around the grounds, which is always handy. So I actually seen that John Calton in the lift, and he gave me his best bet at Gawler. So I had one at Gawler, which was handy.
And it won?
Yeah, $4. Pissed in.
Oh, Johnny Kelton. Take
Take
it away.
that. Jeez, that gave him a fair bit of stick about his tie. I was rating that. Was that when he was wearing the vertical striped tie? 'Cause I saw him walking out of somewhere, and I flicked on the TV, and it was just on Channel 78, who would have thought? And the boys on Get On were fucking rinsing him about his tie. I thought it was pretty good. Anyway, that's another side tangent that you can tell how well my brain's going today.
Hey, what about you, Dicko? What was your week look like?
Derby Day is my favourite day. It's the best races. They all aim at it. We won the most, but it's just such a great day to bet at, you know? Like, we won heaps on Derby Day, and we didn't get anything out of Growing Empire, which feels like it was 3 weeks ago. That's how great the week is.
Yeah.
Oaks Day is always my favourite day on course. If when I used to go to every single day, I love Oaks Day. I don't have the luxury of like going and ripping and tearing in tents and shit. You know, I got to be on. So I love Oaks Day because it's just a small crowd. Sometimes they've had shorter meetings too. You know, and you can you just cruise around and sort of it's like freshens you up for one last big push on the final day. I thought the crowd on Champions Day though was massive but not overwhelming.
Yeah,
you know, you could get around, you could get a drink. You know, I had 3 or 4 beers just to settle myself, and the big half a litre Heinekens are a thing from the gods. Like when you don't want to line up and get beers, if you could just you can get a litre of piss, you're away. You know, like settle you, get you in a nice rhythm, get that like hum going. Outstanding. That was one of my big takeaways. Is the Heineken half a litres cans, very very good.
Should have seen the mood change on Thursday. Perhaps we ran into Gano.
Oh, this is good. This is good. This is all true.
Gano was all time, but Dicko was like, "All right, come to Oaks Day. We'll do a bit of content for Cruise Missile, the horse he had in the country final." I was like, "Yeah, mate, sounds great. Like, happy to go to the race. It sounds awesome."
Shout out to Pratty because he's pushed us to do content like while you've been away at the races and the Melbourne Cup, and it's been good.
Yeah,
it's been good.
He's moping around a little bit and just going
not
through
moping
the motions.
around. I just didn't feel like putting on a show.
Gano goes, "All right, boys. I think Gano might have backed 4 of the first 5 winners before he decided to steam into Verdad, but that's another story." Which is another fucking good story, which was on the video for those who haven't seen it. Anyway, Gano goes, "Do you want a drink, boys?" I was like, "Yeah, Dicko's like, yep, let's go get a drink." So he bought Dicko a Heineken and then bought me a Pepsi Max. Mate, it was like a different fucking human being came out of the bar when Dicko had a 500ml Heineken in his hand. He says he wasn't moping around. He was fucking dead set going through the motions. It was like somebody genuinely put batteries in his back and it was just on. He was fucking on then. He's like, "Right, get the microphones out. Let's do some fucking content." And mate, we're sitting in the stand, right? This is so gold. Gano's gone, "Fuck it, boys. I'm back in Verdad. Let's go." He hadn't backed. He backed all of his other horses, I believe, before he got to the races. Then he's like, "Nah, I never bet on Verdad. I'm going well. I don't mind it. Let's back it." So he backed it. Verdad looked like it was fucking travelling. Absolutely travelling. This,
you know why it looked like it that? Because it was.
Also, Dicko, this, I reckon, Paps, did you back it as well, going by the sound of your voice there? Did you have a little bit on Verdad?
No, I didn't back it.
Oh, okay. Just when he went, I was like, there's another one that's fallen in. It gets to the 200. It's hit the lead. Independent Road looks like it's kicking back on the inside, and Dicko goes loud as, like, fucking loud, "Be the Verdad you know you are." And Gano looked at him, and about 3 people's necks snapped around their back because they've all steamed into the $2 favourite. And sure enough, the handbrake went on, and Verdad just fucking stopped and got rickrolled on the line. And the look on Gano's face was all time. But I do have
rolled by Kettle Hill, I reckon, and Kettle Hill was $15 or $12 out to 27 Betfair.
Yep, it was outrageous. But I do have a question for you, Paps. What are your thoughts on Dicko's stroll into the races and putting his Betfair socks on? He was running around in Betfair socks all day Thursday and pulling his pants up at any opportunity so people could look at his socks and go, "Fuck, that man bets he's got Betfair socks on," you know? Are they flog levels or what?
They're flog levels. Probably nearly as bad someone wearing those bloody Pride of Jetty socks or someone, all those Wink socks and shit like that. Those floating around.
I think it's flog levels if you've got socks that you want to wear with your suit. Like, I just put them on. The first pair I grabbed.
His defence was, Paps, "Mate, I've got 3 kids at home and I was rushing. Do you think I was looking at what socks I was putting on?"
I wore on Saturday. They weren't even matching socks.
Yeah, well, you weren't pulling your pants up every 3 seconds to show people that you
Better
bet.
fitting suit Saturday.
Yeah. But it was good vibes on course. I'd actually never met Gano in the flesh before and actually said g'day to him in person. He was fucking on fire,
you should have seen
ripping
perhaps
bloke.
just how fucking polished he was.
Oh, he was on. He was on.
Like
He's a great man,
we
Gano.
started doing a video and I was going through the motions and I was like, I've got
he
to
squared you up a few times.
find a few more gears here to keep up with him. He was on.
He was on.
I seen him at when did I see him? When was it? I think it was Monday night. Monday night,
I
actually.
saw you somewhere carrying on.
Yeah, I seen him at the South Melbourne pub. Yeah, it was big. It was bloody busy in there. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, pleasure. Speaking of the races, shall we rip into having a look at what was a glorious week at Flemington, Dicko?
Yep. Starting on Derby Day.
Yeah, let's start Derby Day. And Eyes on Ponies is brought to you by
CTW Excavations. You find them on Instagram. They'll go where the big boys won't.
Let's do it, Dicko. Go back to Derby Day. Rails in the true. How'd you see the track play? Let's just go day by day because I think things unfold a little bit differently to how we've heard in the media. But what did you think of last Saturday, 2nd of November?
I thought Derby Day was fairer than say Tuesday and Thursday. You didn't want to be right back unless you're a tissue and a moral.
Oh.
It was a pretty fair track, I thought, on Derby Day. It's an interesting day too. Like you get races such as the Wakeful or the Derby where bias is not that relevant. It's either can the fillies get 2,000 and can these Colts and Geldings get 2.5K?
Yeah.
So, but it's a day that defines a lot of things in racing. Like the next stallion was found in the Coolmore Stud Stakes. The Derby identifies the proper horses that might potentially compete in Caulfield Cups and Melbourne Cups moving forward. And then the Empire Rose will often find a horse that's going to back up and be very competitive on Champions Day. And that sort of theme moves through the whole meeting. Every single race on Derby Day is a group race. It is, without a doubt, the greatest day racing in Australia. And this year's edition was very, very enjoyable. The only setback we sort of had as a group, and shout out to Ems, who just quietly said, guys, let's give Dad 5-10 minutes, when Growing Empire, who has now run everything and won nothing, missed out on the Coolmore Stud Stakes. We had a bit of a crack at it as a group, the boys. Paps found it at $26. It started the race as favourite and was unable to go with the boom now colt and future stallion in Switzerland for, again, the king. He is the absolute king. He is the number one trainer in Australia by a significant margin. You can't argue it. Chris Waller. He's won the Caulfield Guineas, the Cox Plate. He won the Vicena won another Group 1, and he won the Coolmore Stud Stakes. The Caulfield Guineas and the Coolmore Stud Stakes make stallions, and that's what you want, and that's what he's done again. He's won the Coolmore Stud Stakes maybe 6 times now. He's a freak. His ability to get horses to go to a new level on Grand Final Day is second to none, and I've never seen it before in my life. No trainer ever I've seen. Man, my racing life isn't as long as other people's, so if you're old and getting offended by that, I apologise. I'm just saying in my time, I just think he's that good at it. Obviously has outstanding stock to do what he's doing, but what he gets out of these big-time horses is truly, truly special.
Well said, Dicko. We'll touch on the Coolmore, as it's such a good race. Obviously down the straight. You had Growing Empire and Gatsby's as a bet. What's your process? You had Switzerland around $6, very close to a bet on the notes. You flip a coin, you probably could back it or save on it. What's your process of going through? Obviously, a straight race, it's different to a circle race. How'd you find Growing Empire and Gatsby's?
You want straight track form as a rule down the straight, and you want last start Savages of the line. They're the two factors within my sort of model that I'll wind up a little bit. The setback for Switzerland was I'd never seen the straight. On the original sort of price, say Wednesday afternoon for a Saturday meeting, so I do the bulk of the pricing for a Saturday meeting on a Wednesday. I had Switzerland about the same price as Growing Empire, but Growing Empire had that tremendous win into the breeze, 40k headwind at Flemington, which gave it a little bit of a nod. I underestimated the Waller factor a little bit. I should have got this horse into $5. I really fucking was shitty with myself about this race because I found the winner I found the third horse, and I found the fifth horse beat 3.6 lengths at 30-1. But I softened my position on the winner just to a point where it was grey as to what to do come the jump when the market was firm to probably more steady than firm.
Yeah.
They certainly came for Growing Empire at the death from my memory. And yeah, that really shit me because it kicked their heads in. This is the best horse. This is the best colt. He didn't fall in. He pissed in, and the only chink for it and these colts now is that Bellatrix Star was easily the second best run in this race, and she was disgraceful on Saturday. She went backwards. She went backwards about 8 lengths. Ridden upside down by Mickey D. Probably no fault of his own. He's probably told to by the stable. But we're already seeing a bit of a chink in the strengths of this form. So to my focus, the straight racing is about track and trip form. It's about savages of the line with a rating that says they're good enough to win. And then it's about map. And that, again, that's why Growing Empire and Switzerland particularly stood out to me because they drew middle to wide. They had tactical speed. You don't want to be on swoopers in a straight race at the bottom end of a market. You want to be on a horse with a bit of cover, but right near the lead.
Nice, mate. And with Growing Empire, you think just too many runs in a prep? I think.
Yeah, classic. Like it's no knock on Kieran. Like he should have won how close did he go to winning the Moya or whatever it was, Manicato, whatever it was. Then he wins a Group 1. He's fearless. He places his horses aggressively, and it didn't work this time, but only by a very small margin. But the people that want to knock him, can say he's run everything with this colt and he's won nothing. And that's true. And this guy, who many think's the best colt of this generation, needs to go and do it now. He has to win a Group 1 to be a proper stallion.
Yeah.
He's certainly done enough that they'll stand him regardless, because Yulon can do whatever they want. But, I think you guys would agree, without having the experience, that you'd have the same view, because we had the same ticket, and every time they went to another race, you're like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it was almost a birthday result for us that ran in the race after the Everest, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely counted as a win that it was running on demonstrate on this
To be honest, in a sick way, part of my thinking, because I relate everything in horses to humans, was this is a bit like Brisbane Lionsy for this horse. You know what I mean? Like, it's just done too much hard shit that it shouldn't be able to, but maybe that would make it so hard and tough versus these protected colts that it would help it. But I think he went pop. I don't think he went to his best here, which is disappointing for us.
Nice, mate. Then we'll go to the Derby. Obviously, it's a bit of a tough race, 2,500 metres for 3-year-olds. Are they going to get the distance? How did you go about that? How are you sort of judging them getting the distance? And you obviously nearly had one of the greatest bets of all time, Scary, at $51. It's come second at $10 a place.
How'd you go in the car park here? Did you lose your voice?
Oh, mate. But I didn't know where it was for half the race, like till about the 200-metre mark, and then I heard Scary.
Yeah.
So then I was like,
knew where it was for about the 600. We went off in here. We were going off.
Yeah, because because the car park's going on. There's on the big screen. There's shit going everywhere. Everyone's screaming. I'm like, oh, where the fuck is Scary? And then I heard Scary. Now Scary's coming up the inside. I'm like, Scary? Hang on. And then buddy, who won it? The Adelaide horse skipped away.
Gold Rush Guru.
Gold Rush Guru.
For J Carr. So we ended up betting this race a very big result, Scary, a good result, Gold Rush Guru, a chop El Costello, a chop King of Thunder, and a good result, Keeneland. Keeneland was poor. El Costello was probably the run of the race. Just like brain dead tactically ride from Josh Parr. Obviously, when we bag a rider, it's got a lot to do with the stable. That would have been his instructions. It was really, really bad. El Costello would be, without a doubt, El Costello is the third fastest from that 100 to 600, the fastest 6 to 4, third fastest 400 to 200, and not the fastest last 200 metres of the race. So he's a horse that you can sort of think about, but you won't get any value about winning the ATC Derby in autumn or something like that. We know he likes going that way, and he was the best run in this race. Gold Rush Guru, we almost had a good bet at it on Wednesday or Thursday, but you need to do a lot more work on these races because you don't know if these horses are going to stay. So when you're pounding through 10 group races on a derby day, you kind of put this one on the side and just go, we'll come back to you when we're ready. And someone cleaned it up. It was like 12s, 13s into 9s or 10s. Luckily for us, it softened a little bit and was bettable on the day. She's just fearless, Jamie Carr. You can trust her to be aggressive, whereas Josh Parr, that's why we back it and save the other one. You don't know what he's going to do. You know what she's going to do. She's going to show intent. She's going to put horse in the race. Her ride wins this race. And with these horses, obviously you can't look for track and trip stats because they don't have any. You don't care about meeting race because they're stayers, going through their gears. And there's a half of these horses coming through that disgraceful race at Caulfield where there was no tempo. So the meeting ranks can be a bit skewed. When I say meeting ranks, that's like the rank of their last 200, 400, 600 of the whole day of a meeting. You're more looking for a rating that says they're good enough and some stuff to say they hit the line hard enough to want to go up and trip. And then you were trying to get a nice map. This race had a very, very tactical map. And then you're leaning on jockeys. So the reason we like Scary was its SPs. It SP'd close to favourite or near favourite with the Keenelands and the might have been Red Aces of this race. 2 starts ago, it wasn't suited last start. Forgive that, trust the SP, have a bet, and we did. And yeah, it was almost Christmas. I saw David Brown at the races on Thursday, and he was still headless about it on Thursday. So
I think that's also the big key difference in the way that you bet and how you've gone about it your whole betting career, mate. It's not just about what the most likely horse, like what horse you think is the best horse in the race. It's the one that'll map the best. It's the one that has the best SPs. It's the one that lines up on your prices to then be an overlay to have a bet rather than just, yes, the favourite might be the best horse in the race, but it may not have the best setup.
Yeah, like we fast forward to Saturday, Via Sistina is the best horse in the race, but if we were going to have a bet, it was probably a Tissue because we don't want to take $1.60 about a horse coming off Cox Plate, but we're happy to take the horse on that profile. So a Tissue has backed up at least last year, could have even done it the year before, successfully from the Saturday of Derby Day to the Saturday of Champions Day, and improved and run really well. So we know it's a setup she wants. She's coming out of a soft Wakeful or whatever it was, Empire Rose.
Yep.
To a good race, whereas Vesicina's coming off of the hottest Cox Plate of all time back to that race. So yeah, she's the most likely winner, but if we were to bet, it'd be a Tissue.
Nice, man.
Should we slide across to the Empire Rose? And now that you've touched on a Tissue, another fucking great result. What do we take? 460 starts.
460,
350.
I thought the pricing was rude and disrespectful to the punter here, and it held for so long that I started to consider getting wobbly mentally, but then I remembered not to, and I didn't, and I was fucking right, and this thing pissed in, and I love this horse. I love this bet. I was the most confident about this bet of all the bets I had across the week. It's just simple stuff. Track and trip, tick. SPs, tick. Form, really strong recent form. Chris Waller, James McDonald. Don't think, just bet. Responsibly. Gamble responsibly.
Any horses you want to take from this race? I mean, Lady in Pink ran well
Sox
on
Nation's flying.
Saturday.
Sox Nations is flying. This race is good. A Tissue's come out and run second of Viestina. This race is a good form reference. These horses here can go and race against boys, or they can race against only girls. So that you're looking for these horses against their own sex. Zardozi's run 4th or maybe 4th in a Melbourne Cup. It is the right form. Yeah. Sox Nation is a horse to follow for sure.
Nice.
Beautiful, mate. Should we move on to Cup Day then? Firstly, the track rail out 2. How'd you see Tuesday playing?
Flemington on Melbourne Cup Day was a disgrace. I think they maybe pumped so much water into it that it drained It drained so well but it drained better on the fence, and the inside 3 lanes were just so far superior to everything else that it created an unfair track if you were back and you were wide. And I think we got really lucky in a lot of ways to win on the day pretty well. Significantly helped by Lindsay finding the 2-year-olds. I think is that the day we found the 2-year-olds.
Yeah, Star.
Yeah, so that's part of like what I do is I have a team around us, and Lindsay Bowles just does the 2-year-olds and does the trials. If they're unraced and we're betting them, it's because of Lindsay. And he nailed it on Tuesday. On Saturday we didn't get a result, but we took $23 about a horse that started $8. So I don't even look at the races, to be honest. Now are we betting? How much are we betting? So the straight racing was probably fairer than the bend racing, but in the Melbourne Cup, like everything that ran on was on the inside. It happened all day. We tried really hard. Pratty and I did a bit of work to try and confirm some tactical stuff in the last race, and we fell into Is It Me at a good price.
Oh.
It was a big drift to Paps because of the way the track was racing. So sometimes a horse will drift because people don't think it can win, but they might think it can't win because of the way the track's racing where it maps, and that was this case. So Is It Me was back and it was wide. That's where it's always going to map, and you couldn't win from there. So it went from $4 to $8. We stepped into it at $8. She showed fuck all intent, none, and it still should have won. And then there was a protest, so our day was longer than it needed to be. Kieran Marr, phenomenal trainer. Lovely person, good bloke. One of the worst protests I've ever heard from the great man. Just he did not want to be there, and it was grim for those of us just holding on to a skerrick of hope that we might get a little bit of a upheld. Yeah, that was the Melbourne Cup. The Melbourne Cup winner was by Extreme Choice, who's a Blue Diamond winner and a very, very good stallion of sprinters in this country. He's probably the best stallion in the country. Not known for anything past sort of 600 metres, let alone 2 mile. And the third horse, Coolmore, sold on the English Digital for $165,000 about 7 months ago. And I did a lot of work on it and went very close to having a crack at it. So I'm pissed off at myself because it ran third, but I'd want to probably end it all if I had a one.
Oh,
Massive dampener though. Just a big roughie getting up in the cup, isn't it? Even just like first and second, like fuck me, like.
Warp speed made a lot of sense.
Yeah. Back on the dry ground.
Warp speed badly not suited. Moderate SP is okay on wet soft ground that doesn't want. Now back onto a firm track. And in the fast lanes, in hindsight, it makes logical sense to me. The winner makes no sense to me at all. Like we went through it this morning. It's I don't know how you'd explain this without being offensive, but this horse has Just Folk form, Paps. This horse got beat by Just Folk.
Gee whiz.
So. Make of that what you will. I find it fucking staggering. It was $251 on Betfair. $251 on Betfair.
Gee whiz.
It improved, 6 or 7 lengths. It only improved 6 or 7 lengths from its Bendigo Cup run, was probably its best run. It wasn't a vintage Melbourne Cup by any stretch, and maybe the riding was on the wall with the top weight was 55 kilos or something. Yeah. The disappointment for me in the race was Zardozi. It ran 4th, but it had the perfect run. That's what we wanted. That's why we backed the horse. It mapped really well on the quick back up out of the tissue race, which we know is good form. You know, we proved it on Saturday with the tissue running really well to Via Cecina, who's the best horse I've ever seen. But yeah, Knight's Choice, man. Like, it's a $65,000 Extreme Choice yearling. I think he costs like $200 to get a serve from now.
Really? He's going up now.
Yeah. So this horse, his last, say, he was beaten 7.3 lengths at Caulfield in the Underwood by Buckaroo, And my note was plain. He then went to Flemington and ran last. He was beaten 12.6 lengths in the Turnbull by Via Sistina, and I said he was weak. He started 100 to 1. Then he went to Caulfield, ran the Caulfield Cup. He ran 14th of 18. He started 200 to 1 there, and I wrote weak. Then he went to Bendigo, where he was improved, but he was beaten 5.2, started $26 behind Sea King. And then he went to the Melbourne Cup, and he started $250, and he won by 0.1 of a length. Robbie Dolan sticks. I don't know, like there is nothing in it. He drew 1 at Bendigo. He drew 5 here, so he didn't even get the old golden switch. There was nothing doing. He'd never been to 3200. He's the only like sprinkling of something, if you were desperate enough and you could find it, was that he did hit the line hard enough at Bendigo off a legitimate tempo to say 3200 is not ridiculous. But
Robbie Dolan's first ever ride in a Melbourne Cup.
Full credit to Robbie Dolan. Congratulations to Luxon and Simons, the trainers from the sunny coast. It's his second Melbourne Cup as a trainer, I believe.
Yep.
So full credit to him. And yeah, we move on quickly.
Any horse you want to take from that meeting at all?
I can't remember, man.
Can't remember. Manolo Bling. Do we keep following?
God bless it. No, it'll be too short next up.
Yep. That's a very, very good bet. I think you had it, $4.50 and we took $7.50. So
yeah, that was a good result, wasn't it?
That was an absolute pleasure.
The straight racing was very good to us through the week.
Haven't touched on Oaks Day yet. Rail out 5, Dicko. A bit of rain during the Oaks, which may have influenced the way the last was run. Don't talk about it. How'd you see Thursday playing?
Thursday was on pace suited. It was not good, but it wasn't as bad as Tuesday. Started off with a bit of weakness. We should have backed Bond Mistress, and it didn't, and it fell in. That shit me. We backed Kalos at, I don't know, $5 or $4.80, and it jumped like $2.50, and it had EIPH, which is what I'm tipping Paps might get whenever he gets back to the SCG and does a couple of laps around the fucking, whatever it's called, I've forgotten, Centennial Park. Juzzies and Moral to get EIPH. It makes it really hard to go to your best, basically. If you're playing at home, they have like a internal something where they can't, run to their capabilities. So Kalos had that setback, but we got away. Now we got one off the pads with our Mirais, and we were away again. Running by was good, but blessed in run. Kettle Hill's the horse that we talked about that jammed Gano and the Verdaddies in the Dunhill Star. Electric Impulse we should have backed and didn't. And then after the race, I was thinking, well, it doesn't. I thought there was a moral to get upheld, that protest, and it didn't get upheld. I was thinking like we would have backed this, and now this is my horse. My horse almost got rolled over, knocked over, and then I backed the winner. And then it's going to get dismissed, I was thinking. So at least I dodged that. But then it didn't get upheld. So full credit to Electric Impulse and anyone with the pills to back it. But,
I had blokes I was with had a tip for it at Electric Impulse. And I looked at it. I was like, yeah, right, I'll just have a little sprinkle on it. But the thing is, he backed Kettle Hill the race before as well. Same bloke sent him 2 tips. Back-to-back $20 pops. Could not believe it.
Wow.
Oh, could not believe it. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
2 in a row. I was like, fuck me. I only had a sprinkle on, but I think he had a fair go. He had a big day.
Jesus Christ, that's
I know.
good.
It's good stuff, isn't it?
What also should have got upheld. Like, should have got robbed of his bet.
Yeah.
He
Massive.
probably had an all-up too.
No, he didn't. No. I think he had it. I don't know what he had on it, but he
live
had
and
it both each way. Unbelievable stuff.
Race 7. This is a good race, and these horses are above average. And Vestes is a horse to follow from the day and from the Carnival. We backed the first 3 horses home. Yeah, shout out to the bloke on our socials with the brain power and the nous. He's a thinker. We only had 3 horses in the quaddie this race. They ran top 3. He boxed them in a trifecta and won 2,000 or 4,000 from about $12 outlay.
$12 outlay, 200%. collected $2,690.80. Daniel Greg Mantle. What a genius.
Greggy,
That's
you have
elite
got me
stuff.
covered, which means you've got the other two covered. You are astute, you are sharp, and we are envious. Well
Yeah,
done.
I'm envious.
Full credit to you.
On that, those quaddies have been fucking elite as well. So make sure if you're
just to roll a
not
bit
a
of salt
quaddie
into the
man,
wound. Roll a bit of salt in the wound from the young man here, Pratty. We didn't see him, didn't hear from him, didn't come and have a beer with you. No, too busy, just socialising, kicking goals, dominating. Because we had put on such a great set, and we nailed the quaddie, and then we missed the last leg. Old T Papley back the winner of the last leg just because he's like flying. He's backing winners at Gawler. He's backing winners everywhere. He took light infantryman because it's the only horse who didn't have in the quaddie.
fucking
You
elite.
just can't. Winners win.
Unbelievable.
It was a great carnival.
It's a good shit.
Look at the giggle on him. Look at the.
Oh, it's fucked.
But for the listeners out there, just make sure you get the quaddie. And if you take Dicko's quaddie and you do like something else, just add it. Like, you're allowed to add one or two things because Dicko will find you good value, and it's really, really good fun when you go into quaddie.
And when you hit one, just make sure you just a shout out to the dim sim and the flea because that's basically why I'm doing them.
Yeah.
Because I know they love it.
Beautiful. Well, I reckon that is Oaks Day done. Shall we move on to what was Saturday, rail out 8 metres? Firstly, Dicko, how'd you see Flemington playing for Champions Day?
I thought I played okay. They clearly aerated or did something to the outside of the straight, which was disappointing because you'd anticipate that's a great place to be, and it wasn't. And we backed a few horses that wanted to get there, and didn't go any good when they did. I got beat on Champions Day. I won. We won Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, and I think we said before the only winner we backed, which we didn't. This was the lowest spend of the week.
Yeah.
Was in the last race. Which is frustrating. Like I work pretty hard at this thing and this week, and I don't do anything really socially and keep myself on the straight and narrow. And we took a great position, like smacked SP Nadal, and it wasn't suited badly. We took Bellatrix Star. She shit the bed coming out of the Coolmore. Well, I dodged the Champions Mile, I dodged the Champions Stakes, and luckily we hit the winner in the last. But and we took big overs in the second race. So I don't think we bet the meeting too badly. I think more often than not Nadal would win the Ray Magnerio race, and it was frustrating because we backed Ray on the Saturday and got beat in that race, and then he came out and jammed me right in the Danus here, but I thought the summation of the day from a narrative and ratings point of view is that Chris Waller is king, hinged. It's a career PB in the best race. It's raced in this campaign just about. The story of the spring for me, and it sort of was again here on Champions Day, is Chris Waller. He's just so good. Via Sistina, you think, how'd she do what she did? She'll come off that. Will she come off that? If he's backing her up, he thinks she's not going to come off that, and she didn't. She backed it up, and she kicked their heads in. He had more up its sleeve if J-Mac wanted it or needed it. I think he had more up his sleeve if he needed it and wanted the Cox Plate. Her grittiest win was in the Turnbull Stakes, which is a proper race. I think Via Cecina's prep this spring is the greatest preparation I've ever seen a horse have. The time and what she did in the Cox Plate and the Japanese horse that she beat is rare air. There wasn't just a decent European here. There was a proper Japanese horse, and she killed it. She won before she had to toe Buckaroo in, who then won a Caulfield Cup, and doesn't stay in the Melbourne Cup either. I saw a bit of narrative, a bit of white sneaker dreaming on SEN, thinking his horse would have won. Johnny O'Neill, shout out to you. I love you, John, but your horse doesn't get 3,200 metres, and you should not try and do it again. The form around Vestin is all stood up, and she just kept on winning. She is a freak. She has no favours in run. It's the best preparation I've ever seen. Better than Winx, better than Black Caviar, better than Maccabi Diva. Just the one sole preparation. She is a freak. We haven't even talked about her winning a Group 1 400 metres starter prep.
I think
She
that's...
failed once at Flemington in the Makita Stakes on wet ground. So she ain't no swimmer. She's not Dawn Fraser, but she's Usain Bolt if you let her rip, and she's fucking rare air. The rating in the Cox Plate is the greatest rating I think we'll ever see. And she backed it up again on Saturday. She did the 3 laps of the Valley. All these things she did. I just think she's an unbelievable animal. And when we saw her, Pratty, in the flesh, I don't know if you could see it like I see it, because I watched them parade for 5 years. That's how I cut my teeth and how I made my money. I call a really, really good parader a panther. She was like a velociraptor, this thing. Like her hips like move above herself, and her shoulder, like she's just a freak of a horse. And Peter said that's how she paraded all prep.
Yeah, you looked at Butch, and Butch looked at you, and shout out to Butch. It was a pleasure spending Saturday with him on course.
Great company.
Oh, what a fantastic human being. But you both looked at each other and just went, fucking hell, how good does that horse look? And I was like, all right, I must be looking at something
we went
pretty
down there,
special.
perhaps, like sort of rule number 1, never force a bet. But we were leaning to a little bit to rule number 3, don't be a pussy. And we were trying to find a way to have a bet. And then you saw her and you're like,
No, it's all over.
Not going against that.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but you look back at that first run and you're just thinking, like, fuck me, like 1,400 metres, and it's just did what it did. That run was just unbelievable. And then everyone...
And you said, and full credit to you said that was inferior ground.
Yeah, it was... and then you get that heavy ground, it's like, this is obviously hindsight, but then obviously those last 3 runs are just unbelievable.
It fucking was running sideways that day at Flemington too. And remember, was it you? No, Pete was saying on course, the guy that does mailbag mounting yard in Victoria. He said that it was like an ice rink after it rained. Like it was proper miserable conditions at Flemington that day. It wasn't like it just rained normally and it was a little bit of soft track. It was like
I should have
water.
articulated that, Pratty. That's what I mean about the prep.
Yeah.
She won a Group 1 first up, 400 metres.
Yeah.
It was like random chaos when she lost.
Yeah.
She then did the fucking 3 laps of Moonee Valley and then kicked their heads in.
Yeah.
She did a lot of things that aren't like how you'd want your horse's preparation to go, and overcame them all. I think she's a freak, and she's as good a horse as I've ever seen in my life. Other things on the day, shout out to Annabelle Nation, won a big Group 1 on a big day, a massive day. Sort of stamped herself. They're starting to get a bit warm. And we'll finish with Mr. Brightside. I will caveat by saying I think another Will would have won and should have won. Don't know why they didn't run it. Disappointing. But this horse, he is a fucking champion.
How
the
good was
Hayes
the
boys
roar?
must have if we had beers, Pratty with Ben. Before the Cox played on the Friday night.
Yep.
Getting to know JD really well. If one of them doesn't have a tattoo of this horse on their ass or on their ankle, I'll be very flat about it.
Shout out to Tanetti's mates with Moby Dick tattooed on the inside of their shin.
Great tattoo. Good blokes too. They look... We need to keep them away from me and from Paps. Both
100%. They are no good.
Trouble. But Mr. Brightside, what a horse. What an animal. Blinkers on. 2,000 back to the mile. It's definitely a friendlier setup from a punting point of view off the Cox Plate, like back-end trip, as opposed to the VS Sustain staying at 2,000 or, looking at a 1,300 metre race, Melbourne Cup. But he is a freak, this horse.
Blinkers on as well.
Winners win. He's just tough.
The roar was outrageous. Everybody in the grandstand was cheering for that horse. I mean, it did help that it was a blanket finish, but yeah, the punters were definitely getting around Mr. Brightside, which was it was a good experience being on course watching that race. It was really, really good.
It is an unbelievable day's racing.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable carnival. Full credit to Flemington. Your track was a little bit flat. Your bookies rings are disgraced. Outside of that, the vibe, the hospitality, the beers, the ease in which you get in and out of that venue. Full credit to you. It's an outstanding thing. Racing is absolutely airborne. The crowd was young. I felt old. We're in a great spot. Onwards and upwards. And Caulfield Carnival, Moonee Valley, and then we fucking jammed it right up Flemington. So it's a big spring for the boys. And we'll just
good
get a
race
little
day
bit
to
of
go.
a fucking dessert on 1,000 Guineas Day at Caulfield. And obviously we'll just have a little bit of a little bit of a pep in our step after race 5 there at Bendigo, where some of us on at 14, some of us on at 7s.
Fuck you.
Does that just about do us for episode 57 of the Early Crow?
Certainly
Look, I
does.
think we could keep going, Tom.
We could.
But I think that's it for episode 57. Kids need to eat. Are you back on the tools yet, Tommy?
Yep. Form-wise, is that what you're saying? No.
No, like are you at training?
Oh, no, we go back to 2nd December. I'm starting training, but I've got more important things. I'm back on the form, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear.
All right.
Love that.
Paps is back, ripping into his form. P-Rat and I. Are you a chance of going to Moonee Valley Friday night?
Are you going?
I have to go. I'm going.
Yeah, there's
If we run the Genius.
probably $1.01 that I'll bet the Valley.
That's
And
it.
it's probably overs as well.
Stay tuned. We'll likely have a bit of a video, probably Sunday, Saturday, if we're lucky, of Pratty and I doing our best work, Moonee Valley, Friday night. Eyes on Ponies will rev right back up again with Paps back on the tools from Saturday. NFL, golf.
Golf will be
Golf
back
was
this
actually
week.
good
Yep.
this weekend.
We
Plenty
let
more.
it go.
Follow the socials, and surely, I mean, they're the big, thick boys. They're airborne. They're dominating on the socials, but we are wiping them like a dirty ass. The Wolf Den need to do a Stephen Bradbury to try and run us over on the final day. It's been a lot of fun. It's been very enjoyable, but they are so far behind that they need a fucking miracle to run us down. And they won't find it, because we'll find winners again. That's been the Early Crow, episode 57, brought to you by Makita. Gamble responsibly, 1-800-858-858, or visit the website. Bye for now.